Namaste. Absence of father is better than having a bad father. Because if you have a bad father, abusive father, insensitive father, then it will lead to more insecurity. You will become more insecure, and then you will seek security outside your home. And that is how those men and women who had a very bad father, they got into a relationship very early in life. Because somewhere the mind is in search of some kind of security. And many a times these relations in which they jump, they turn out to be disasters. Because you are in rush. So a bad father is actually a bad foundation. Bad foundation will lead you to many bad things, wrong things, and eventually you will get into that vicious cycle of miseries. That is why having a good father is more important. It is okay if father is absent, many a times because of divorce, because of early death, father is absent. That is perfectly fine. But a bad, abusive father is actually a very, very unfortunate thing to happen. In this podcast, I have discussed about the astrological signs and indications that signify a bad father, as well as I have shared certain placements that signify the absence of father. So let's begin. Having a bad father is actually not a good start for the native. Having no father is better than having a bad father, because a bad father leads to many traumatic events in your life, as well as you always remain insecure, and this insecurity eventually leads to early marriages or early relationships in life. And many a times this relationship also turns out to be disaster, since you end up choosing a wrong partner, and all of this happens because you never had a good start. You never had a good foundation. Father is the very foundation of life. And when father turns out bad, then it leaves a very lasting impact on the overall quality of your life. A bad father indicates that the native indeed has a strong Pitru dosh. Pitru means your ancestors, and dosha means that which can cause problems. So in plain words, Pitru dosh means your ancestors can cause problems in your life. And the very first problem that you may face is having a bad father or an unlucky father who faces many failures in life, or the father dies early and you are left alone and you miss him dearly. You can feel his absence in your life. Ancestors and all fatherly figures are ruled by Saturn. Interestingly, the 10th house in the Kalapurush Kundali is also ruled by the Saturn's sign Capricorn. So whenever Saturn is afflicted by Rahu or Ketu, relation with father is not good, or the father dies early, or there is much misery in father's life. Your mother's family is the extended family of your father. The 5th house therefore signifies the family of your mother. The 5th is the 2nd to 4th house, and 2nd is the house of family. Sun is the natural ruler of the 5th house, and so Sun also plays a vital role when it comes to judging your father. The very first teacher is your father. Through him, you learn the ways of life. Whenever knowledge provider comes in play, Jupiter jumps in. And so Jupiter also signifies father. So now we have ninth house, 10th house, Saturn, Sun, and Jupiter signifying everything about father and his nature and his overall character and your equation with your father. Always remember, a combination of several houses and planets indicate a certain matter or subject of your life. Astrology is never one dimensional because life is never one dimensional. Life is multi-dimensional, and so multiple houses and planets come together to indicate a certain happening, a certain situation, or a certain person in your life. Now, I will quickly mention the astrological signs of having a difficult father or a father who remains absent in your life. When Sun conjuncts Saturn in your chart in the 6th, 8th or 12th house, when Saturn conjuncts Rahu in your chart in the 6th, 8th, 12th house, when Saturn-Sun conjunction happens and the 10th house and the 9th house lord is retrograde or associated with malefic planets, when Saturn Ketu conjunction happens and 9th, 10th house or its lord is afflicted and sun is afflicted in the chart, when 10th house lord is afflicted and Jupiter or Saturn is with Rahu or Ketu. Jupiter Rahu conjunction is a perfect sign of having issues with father or the father is not a good character person. Saturn Rahu conjunction along with Ketu in 10th house or Mars in 10th house signify early death of father or father remains absent during major events of life. Sun Ketu conjunction or Sun Rahu conjunction with 10th house lord in Krur or Tikshna nakshatra can also lead to early death of father or issues with father. Purva Falguni, Purva Shadha, Purva Bhadrapad, Bharani, Magha are addressed as Krur, meaning cruel nakshatras, while Mula, Jeshta, Adra, Ashlesha are Tikshna nakshatras. Krur means cruel and Tikshna means sharp like a knife. Whenever Sun, Saturn and Jupiter fall in these Krur or Tikshna nakshatras and the 10th house and 9th house lord is afflicted by malefic planets, then the father is problematic and relations with father is always stressed. The most striking sign is the perfect conjunction of Sun and Saturn with a retrograde Jupiter who happens to be the lord of 10th or 9th house. In such a scenario, the native never gets to meet his or her father. I had seen one such real life example wherein a young baby daughter of 10 days lost contact with her father. Her mother got a divorce and she took away the baby daughter, never to be seen again. In her chart, I observed these combinations, that is of Sun Saturn conjunction and the 10th house lord Jupiter retrograde. Most likely she is never going to see her biological father, as these combinations also indicate that she has a strong Pitru dosha. In this vast human world, there are thousands of such real life scenarios wherein the native has never seen his or her father. And most likely they will never see their father because when there is a strong Pitru dosha, meeting with the father is next to impossible. However, this matter doesn't impact the overall progress of the child. The child grows and matures much faster than the rest of his friends. The child learns to take responsibilities early in life, and thus this quality helps him or her to attain more success in life. However, Pitru dosha constantly brings many challenges in his or her life. The native struggles to find stability in life. Career is always on his mind, but even in the matters of career or his profession, he continues to witness a lot of fluctuation. It seems as if life is like ECG, at times on the high phase, while at times on the lowest phase. And the poor native never realizes that all of this is happening because of his ancestors whom he needed to pacify in order to attain stability, peace, and prosperity in life. How to pacify your ancestors? Many people think that by doing certain Shraddha rituals, you can pacify your ancestors. This is half truth. Full truth is when, along with performing annual Shraddha Vidhi, you should also feed curd and rice to crows on daily basis. You should also donate a cow to a Brahmin or to a poor farmer who can take good care of that cow. Similarly, you should also recite the Vishnu Sahasranam, or you should recite Vishnu Puran on Thursdays, as well as you should always donate food to old people or to old age homes. And lastly, you should worship your father's family, Kuladev and Kuladevi. You all must understand that there is a difference between a bad father and a father who remains absent due to a certain compelling situation. Bad father causes much damage to your overall growth, while an absent father may keep you away from the many beautiful learnings and experiences that generally a child gets when his father is present in his or her life. Although in both the cases, the child is devoid of happiness from father. Either the father is bad and adamant, or the father is completely absent due to legal divorce or some compelling situations of his life. Astrology combinations that I shared with you primarily signify the absence of father's love. However, if the chart is too bad in regards to the 9th, 10th house, then the native suffers at the hands of his father. His father is very abusive, dominating, and also has a very cheap character. As you may all know, many young daughters have been sexually abused by their biological fathers. Someday I am going to talk on the astrological signs and indications that signify child abuse. Child abuse is a very sensitive subject. It is likely that some of you may not be able to listen to the many dimensions that this subject has. However, my sharing is always for a selective class of people who has a certain depth of understanding and who are eagles and not pigeons. Sometimes, by the grace of the Master, even a bad father transforms into a good father. There was one such father, and he was a great thief. One day, Lord Mahavira arrived in his town, and the father became very afraid. He called his son and said, "Listen, son, you are free to do everything, but don't go close to that man, Mahavira. I am a master thief, but I also avoid him because that man is dangerous. Something magical surrounds him, and once you are caught in it, there is no way out. So remember, go everywhere else, but avoid his campus where Mahavira is staying." The son was very obedient. He avoided Mahavira's campus for many days, but the temptation was natural. Here is a man whom his father fears so much that just to be close to him seems to be dangerous. It is worth testing. So one day he went just a little closer to the campus, not inside the grove where Mahavira was staying with his disciples, but outside the grove. And he heard only one sentence. Mahavira was saying that in paradise, the angels and the female angels are very beautiful. But just one thing is wrong. Their feet are pointing in the opposite direction. The angels are going one way, but their feet are going in the opposite direction. That's all what this boy was able to listen to. And he was afraid that his father might come to know. So the boy escaped. But he thought there was no danger there, and Mahavira was just telling a fictitious story. But the same night, he and his father were both caught stealing. It was impossible to get any information from the father. Hence the king said, "Don't bother about the father. Concentrate on the son. There is a possibility that we may be able to find out all the information that we need." And so the king's men worked out a strategy. The strategy was that the boy was given intoxicating drugs. So he slept for hours, completely unconscious. He was taken to the most beautiful room in the palace, and all the beautiful girls were serving him, bringing food and drinks. As he came back to consciousness, he thought, "My God, I am dead. I am in paradise. This is the paradise that fellow Mahavira was describing. And the girls are really beautiful. Everything is great." But then he looked at their feet, and immediately he understood that there was some conspiracy. This is not paradise because their feet are just like our feet. The woman tried in every way to convince him, "You are dead and you are in paradise." And they were saying, "This is just the reception. Before you enter the permanent paradise, you have to tell everything about your life. This is the rule. Everything will be written and recorded, and then you will enter the permanent paradise." They wanted him to confess all the sins that his father had been committing, all the thefts, murders, and things for which they had never been caught. But now he would simply smile. He said, "Forget all about it. I have heard from Mahavira himself. Your feet have given me the clue that this is the palace of the king, and this is a strategy. Tell your king to try to befool somebody else. I am a disciple of Mahavira." They said, "Strange, when did you become a disciple of Mahavira?" He said, "Just passing by, I heard one sentence, and that one sentence has saved me today." And because there was no proof, finally they had to be released. And once they were released, the son said to his father, "I am not going to listen to you at all. If I had not disobeyed you and had not listened to Mahavira, we would both be hanging on the gallows. Just one sentence, and that too a small part of a story, has saved me. I am going to Mahavira. His magic has caught me." And the young boy became a great disciple of Mahavira. He said to Mahavira, "You have saved me. Now give me a new life, because I don't want just to be saved and continue to be a thief and a murderer. It was good that I was caught. A discontinuity has happened. You start my life from scratch. Accept me as a child." And behind the boy came his bad father. And now the father was also crying. His cry was so loud that it moved the heart of Mahavira and his disciples. He said, "Master, I am a sinner. I am a very bad father, but still, if you could accept me, I would change my ways. I will follow your word. Mahavira smiled and said, when you self realize your mistakes, when repentance happens, life starts transforming naturally. I am here to transform the bad into good. You are welcome. The bad father, who was no more bad, touched Mahavira's feet, and Mahavira moved his hand over his back. Just a soft touch, and the whole body vibrated. The old bad father was dead, and a new good father was in the making. That night, the boy's father cried a lot. Every teardrop was bringing him closer to the reality and the purpose of this human life. Always remember, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. We all are sinners, but we all have a future. Because the universe is not going to stop until it changes you into a new person, a new man. You may have a bad father, but you should always give him a chance. You should not be judgmental. Rather, you should rise to the occasion and show compassion towards him. Who knows what kind of situations and problems he may have been through? As long as he has not committed any serious crime, you can always forgive him. When you forgive, you feel lighter, and then you are able to move on. And when you move on, you are able to grow and progress in life. So the key is acceptance and forgiveness. Always remember, whatever you are going through now is the result of what you have done in your past life. So if you want to see a bright future and a more positive birth life cycle, then it is necessary that you bring more awareness in this now moment. Remember, a man of awareness lives moment to moment. He is always in this now moment. Remember, what you do now is what going to decide your future course of life and thereafter. Enough for now. Focus on your meditations. Focus on being consistent in your chanting, and the rest will follow in its own accord. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru.